And hi guys, I'm Shurleene and welcome back to the Anderton Show. Today I have an amazing guest with me called Kate, and she's going to be talking about life after domestic abuse and how she rebuilt herself back up. And I want you to listen closely to her story, and hopefully she's going to relate to some of you guys, and you guys will be able to just be free from whatever you're going through right now. So I'm going to hand it over to Kate just to introduce herself. Hi Kate.
Hello Shurleene, thank you very much. Well, Shurleene said I'm Kate. I'm a single mum. I've got 2 children, not little children anymore. My youngest is 14 and my eldest is 22. Just needs me in different ways these days now. And yeah, it's great to be here today to be able to share my story with everybody.
Thank you. Right, so I'm just going to kick off and just talk about, the past and how you're here today, standing as a survivor of domestic abuse. And we say this like you're a survivor, and people think, you're trying to be a victim or this. Some people don't know how it is to live with someone that is every day you're kind of scared to be around, you're scared to talk to, you're sometimes scared to be yourself, and you lose yourself in that moment. And then when you think of when they said, survival's like going to the army and you're moving through the enemy's camp, and then you get to the other side and go, you survived. That's how it feels.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. And you've got your kids, you feel safe. And when you look back, you think, oh my God, like, you don't even know how you came out of it sometimes. Because sometimes when you're there every day and you're thinking, I need to get out, how? When you do get out, you think, thank God, because it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how did you guys meet?
We met actually when our 2 best friends got married.
Oh.
He was the best man, I was the chief bridesmaid.
Okay.
We had loads of friends in common for many years, but never actually met ourselves until the wedding rehearsal. I think it was the night before the wedding. And then, got to know each other through the wedding.
Wow. And was it love at first sight? Or?
There was definitely an attraction at first sight. So it was something where we then swapped numbers and it went from there. And obviously at first it was very all nice and new and exciting.
Yeah. They said the butterflies in the stomach.
Yeah.
Oh, he's calling it. It's always that nice. And was there they say the red flags. Was there any red flags in the beginning or?
No, there was the niceness. Being really nice, getting to know my friends and family that the friends he didn't already know, and that usual lovey-dovey stage at first where it's like everything's wonderful and I'll do everything for you and this, and then I wanted to do everything for him as well, and just that it seemed wonderful. It did seem really wonderful for a while, but it wasn't until little things started happening and I don't think I really realised at first what it was until you sort of go right down, don't you?
Yeah. So how long did the wonderfulness last? How many months or years or?
So we lived quite far apart, so I think we probably moved in quite quickly to counteract that distance, and probably that's not ideal. You don't have that full on getting to know each other time, do you? So I think it was when we really moved into our forever home, our family home. It was very stressful. Moving's stressful, isn't it?
It is.
But on top of that, we moved in February and we were getting married in May.
Wow.
So it was a very stressful time. But looking back on it, there were the little things like where anything bad happened, he was always very dramatic. It was the end of the world. Something happened just before we got married. Hey, we can't get married now. We can't. It's sort of very over the top and wanting me to talk him back into it almost.
Like that, to kind of nurture him back.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So giving a little hints of narcissism, that kind of adorn me. Interesting. How was he with friends and family?
Overly lovely.
The charm.
The wanting to be liked, couldn't stand not being liked.
Right.
So had to be, ultimately very charming, didn't like being seen in a bad light. So it was that very nice, nice person, I think.
A few of us have had partners like that, isn't it? Like too nice almost, and everyone's like, oh
isn't
God,
it?
you're so lucky. Like, you're like, oh wow. So even with like your family though, was there anything, sometimes there's always that family member to say, I'm not sure, but so Was it like that, or was everyone just on his side?
I think people were quite shocked when I said we were splitting up. I thought everything was great and everything like that. I mean, there's one thing, looking back on it, when we did announce we were getting married, my mum did say to me, are you sure you want to get married? Why don't you just live together? And I didn't really think a lot of it, but I had previously lived with my son's dad, and when it had ended, obviously that hadn't left me in a strong position.
Yeah.
So, and I was so loved up. I was like, yes, I want to get married, I want to be the bride, I want my big dress, I want my day and everything else. So, I mean, I didn't think much of it. I think obviously at the time she's just trying to protect me, and why are you spending all this money? Not that we spent a lot, because we didn't have a big budget, but there was that element of, looking back on it, did she mean something else? Had she seen something else there?
What did she know? That's quite interesting, actually, because sometimes mum will have that sixth sense, and they don't want to put a downer on your happiness, or seem like, when they said, oh, shoot the messenger type person, like, and sometimes people say, oh, are you jealous, or whatever the case may be, and sometimes people don't want to do that, but they see things. And let me just give a little word of advice, like, you sure you're not rushing into things, maybe wait a little bit, and then they will hear your response and they will step back. So tell me, when did you start seeing some of the changes within him?
There's a couple of things that really stand out for me in my memories. So when I was, we just moved in together, I'd gone from having a small maisonette with me and my son, and then we had a flat temporarily while we were looking for somewhere to buy, and gone into this, I say big 3-bedroom home, a 3-bed standard semi-detached home, but to me that was big. That was big. That was more than we used to. And around I was like, oh my goodness, how am I going to keep my lovely new house clean? So I'd been to work all day, he'd been at work all day. So in the evening, I'd got my son to bed and I was cleaning. And he came steaming upstairs. What are you doing? Why are you cleaning now? I haven't seen you all day. Come and sit down with me and watch telly. And I was like, okay then. So I just kind of sat there all night. I remember sitting there, it's EastEnders.
Good old EastEnders.
And just sort of sat there and I was like, that's weird.
Is it naughty?
But I didn't feel comfortable speaking up. So, well, you're going to help me with all this then? Because no. So that was the first one, but I didn't think anything of it. I don't think I thought of it as any form of abuse at the time or controlling behaviour. I think I convinced me, he wants to spend more time with me. Talked myself round. But there were lots of incidents like that. And I didn't notice myself losing my confidence, going down and down and down, and almost becoming a shell of myself, wandering around like I had the weight of the world on my shoulders. Hearing the key in the door when he came home and thinking, oh God, he's home. To everyday things where I would go out and put some rubbish outside, and I might go out in tracky bees and a strappy top, and then get told off for that because I didn't have a bra on. Oh, the neighbours are looking at you. I really don't think they are.
So
and even if they were at that distance, what are they going to say? I'm not flaunting myself. I'm putting some rubbish out in tracky bees and a strappy top. So one day I was cleaning the car and he called me and those blokes over the road are all ogling you. You shouldn't be out there cleaning the car. But he wouldn't clean the car. And he's just like, but what am I supposed to do
crazy,
here? To other incidents, we're being scared to being seen having a conversation with another man or anything. So I've always gone to football. I have since I was a child. He knows most of my football friends. That's the same friendship group.
How the circle, people
they all
around you.
met. Kitty and John met, and we met at their wedding. And I think it was our last playoff final that we were in back in. I've got to get the year now. 2013, I want to say. Probably it would have been 2013, I think. And we were out in the pub afterwards, and someone took a group photo of us. Or there's quite a big group of us, and he knew everybody bar one person in that photo. And I just happened to be standing next to Paul, and we all had our arms around. And I thought, well, at least he's not going to see that photo. One of my mates put it on Facebook, and when I got home, who's this? And he was zooming in on the photo to show Paul's arm around me. Who's this one? And I was just like, well, that's ruined my lovely day out. And so there were many incidents like that, and I just went down.
Did you feel, so when you were going down, like your confidence, your self-esteem, did you know what you was going through? Did you have an understanding of what you were going through?
No.
Or what he was doing to you?
No, it took me a very long time to realise that this wasn't right.
Yeah.
We'd been through some very difficult circumstances with ectopic pregnancies and miscarriages, which had a massive effect on me. So that I'd taken a massive knock through that. I don't think I really saw it until later on. Even looking back at it now, and you think of things, you're thinking, oh my goodness, knowing what I know now. But at the time, no idea what emotional abuse was, what controlling behaviour was, narcissism and all that sort of thing. It just, I didn't really know about it.
Didn't connect. Well, if you don't know, you can't connect the dots. There's no dots to connect, because you're just thinking, I love this person, he loves me. Is this a part of his character, behaviour? Is it me overthinking? Am I? Because he'd make me feel like I was unfaithful by having a feeling or an opinion on how he was behaving. Absolutely. And they kind of push. And we're not going to say, obviously we're women talking about men here, being in a relationship with a man, but it happens, vice versa. There's a lot of men that will say their woman was that abusive person. But we're just talking about a person, a human being having these characteristics. And it's life damaging. And a lot of statistics will say, the other person, if it's not mental health, they will end up taking their lives. And when we look at that, it's hard, because it plays a lot on your own self-value and self-worth. And then to pick up those pieces, it's not easy. And especially when you have children as well. It can be even life damaging to them, where they can be then drawn to trauma and then trauma bond with a perpetrator because of what they saw mummy or daddy go through. So you've got a lot, people don't realise you have a lot to think about when you're in that situation, and it's hard, And so when you were in, as you said, even just zooming up on that picture, how was it left?
Just angry. He was just angry. There was never any resolution to these things. I would try and put my point across and made to feel I was wrong. And then I didn't deal with my emotions very well, so I'd maybe go silent for a couple of days, because I just couldn't deal with it. I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know how to process it, or what should I do next type thing. So eventually we'd get all the fake apologies, and I will change and it will be different next time. Lure me back in. I will make things right. I will change. I will. And then it'd be lovely for maybe a week, 2 weeks, and we'd go back to the same thing again.
And it's that cycle, isn't it? Because at that point they're losing control, so they have to the flowers, or I'm sorry, or I'm going to change, and whatever. But the moment they've got you again, they repeat the cycle. And some men or women, they will go into that kind of freeze, as you said, you went silent. They don't know what to do. Do you run? Do you freeze? Do you fight? So sometimes we don't know our responses until we're triggered and something happens. And a lot of times, unfortunately, the victim, we do go silent. Because we don't know what to do, because a lot of times we're facing fear, and it's the type of fear that we've probably never faced before. And sometimes we're scared of losing the person, and sometimes we don't know if it's going to result in them even taking your life, sometimes depending if they're violent, but you just don't know. So then you go silent, and then that can make them even worse. It can wind them up even more, because you're kind of not facing them. But I can tell you're brave.
I think.
Yeah, you're very brave, and it's and an inspiration as well, because even what you're describing is just bringing me back to when I was and I met my ex-husband. It was my sister's wedding, and he was the best man.
Oh, how funny.
And the rest is history, but but it's that same thing, like as you're speaking, I'm just like, it's like they all go to the same school. School for perpetrators. And because you are a nice and kind person, Kate's a very nice and kind person. She's so lovely. She's got a warm heart. It's like they're attracted to that as well.
I think they do. I think it's almost like they can sense the vulnerability.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It says, so can you describe, so you was describing some of his behaviours, just for obviously some of the viewers listening, what are some of the other behaviours that maybe sticks out in your mind, and maybe doesn't actually? Sometimes it's, they do a certain thing and you think is that a behaviour? Like my ex-husband always used to scrape his food in the bin after I've cooked it, and I'd be like, oh, why is he doing that? And then I speak to other women, they're like, oh, my one used to do that. And you're like, interesting. Is there any other, maybe some behaviours that you can think of that was a bit odd, that looking back now?
There was always one thing, and it's funny you said it, I've completely forgotten about it until you said that.
Yeah.
That when he cleaned his teeth in the morning and spat out the toothpaste afterwards, it would always land on the tap and it would just be left there for me to clean up, and it was almost like, you are beneath me, you clean up after me. That's how it came across to me.
Absolutely.
And when I did start building myself back up and I challenged him, oh no, I'm not doing it on purpose or this. But yeah, but how do you miss the thing? It became quite a big thing for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
And like it's really interesting you said, it's almost like you're beneath me, and that's how a lot of them feel, because they feel like that, because they was made to feel like that, maybe growing up by their mother, father, or an ex-partner, or from whatever, or being bullied. And instead of, I need to heal, I need to get counselling, I need to better myself, they're going to make you feel like that. Yeah. To appease an emotion within them. Yeah. So when you feel like how they feel better. Yeah. And I never really get the kind of mental thought, the flow of that. I would never get it. But it's just really hard to comprehend sometimes. Like, why would you want to make someone feel beneath you? Because that's how someone made you feel, and it wasn't nice. You didn't feel good about yourself. No. But that's really, and you do it all the time, and you would spit, and you would never think, oh, let me just wipe it.
That. Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else can you think of?
On a Tuesday would be my later day at work, and my daughter would be at the childminders. Our daughter would be at the childminders. So I would be rushing back from work to get to the childminders by the 6 o'clock cut off. And if he finished and got home before me, he wouldn't go and get Maya unless I specifically said, which I wouldn't, because I didn't. Then I'm doing you a favour. Thinking our daughter up from the child. He'd be at home making himself some dinner. Wow. Himself some dinner, not our dinner. Yeah, like that. His dinner. So our daughter had eaten at the childminder, so that wasn't a consideration. But it was that. I would rush home from work and cook dinner for everyone every day. But his attitude was, well, I work full time, so it's not really my responsibility. Well, I just work part time, and obviously I'll put my feet up the rest of the time.
You don't do anything else. Yeah.
So there were things like that as well, where it was that,
And it's I'm happy and thank you for sharing, because I know it's not easy sometimes, especially revisiting the past. But there'll be hopefully women and men listening saying, going through that, because sometimes you can't connect those dots, especially if you've never been through it before. And even if someone's thinking, well, my partner does that, and then it's like it's your daughter and I'm going to cook for myself, that's abuse. And they don't realise, because it's, especially if it's happening constantly, and then you're forced then to rush, you're stressing, trying to get back to the childminder, then trying to get home, and then to cook a dinner, and you're thinking, and you're just sitting there going, I'm going to watch TV, or I'm making a sandwich, or I'm making food for myself, and you sit there thinking, I've just stressed and you've not helped at all. But they do it on purpose, because they know what they're doing. And that's a sad thing. And if you are watching and you're going through this, please get help. I'll leave some information and some numbers on down below, and just remember, you're not alone. I know it feels like you're going through it alone, because obviously no one's living with you. It's very isolating. It's very absolutely, especially you don't want to speak out. But please don't keep it a secret, because it's only hurting yourself, and it's giving the perpetrators, or those horrible abusive people, power, because that's what they like. It's all about power and control. If they don't have power and control, they lose it and it's all your fault. And then they'll go for a stage, as you said earlier on, of I'm really sorry, and then they reel you back in, and it's going to be a perpetual cycle that will either eventually losing your life, or you end up in a mental home somewhere. And that's what you don't want. Your life is too precious. When did it start to affect you to you sort of like maybe speak out, or was your kids affected, or your family towards the end?
It was something my daughter said to me. No, something she did that made me think, oh my God, I've got to change the situation. So I'd realised that this was abusive behaviour. I had come across an opportunity, which at my lowest point, I don't know, something made me grab it with both hands and go, this is the vehicle for me. And through that, they really promoted personal development, and that is what made the massive difference to me. So I started building myself up and started thinking, hang on, this behaviour is not right. That something's really not right here. And really started to work on myself. And I can remember being at home, and at the time, I can't remember how old my daughter was at the time, and my son was probably towards the end of middle school, primary school. And he did something, and she told him off. And at first I laughed, and I was like, oh my God, she sounds just like me. She's copying me. Oh my God, she's copying me.
Oh wow.
She's copying me. She's going to copy my behaviour. She's going to think that this is okay. This is how a relationship should be. I don't want that. I don't want that for her. I have got to get out of this. And it was that one moment of her mimicking me and telling Jacob off for doing something. That it was like a moment of clarity that I cannot keep this cycle going and pass it on to her, that she thinks that's how a normal relationship should be. So that's when I started making plans and trying to create extra income for myself so that I could be on my own, so I could afford to be on my own, and started working from there to build it up.
That was that pivotal moment, that turning point for you. And it's so strange because I do listen to women and men, and it's always they say, it was my child. You know, obviously if you're single and you're going through that, it would have been God, a family member, or just yourself going, I can't live like this anymore. But a lot of times if you do have children, it's something that it's like an action, something they say, and it just hits you in the face like, wow, will they grow up to be the perpetrator or be the victim? And you don't want them to be either.
No.
So you think, do I get out or do I stay here? And then, you know, hope for the best, but then, you know, the worst will happen if it's going down the hill. And I think you have to look after your babies. You have to look after those children. Come first. They didn't ask to be brought into a world of abusive behaviour.
And they are the most powerful catalyst for you to do something a lot of the time.
Wow. And I love that you just want to do something. You wanted to grow. You want to do something for yourself. And then it's interesting because you always find, like, when anybody needs to get out, especially for family home from domestic abuse, they always need that money. There's always that, I need to stand on my own feet, but how am I going to go into it? If there's a 2-parent family, we're paying the bills, and that's why a lot of people stay as well, that kind of financial abuse as well. How am I going to make it by myself? And they end up staying. So how did you eventually leave then?
It all came to a head one day actually. So I had been, you know, saving up, scribbling away, making my plans in the background. How was I going to cope with being on my own with 2 children? The financial aspect, the organising everything that goes in life aspect as well. And I was doing that. I was thinking, oh, it might take another year or 2, but I'll get there. And we got into an argument one day, and he just went, well, I'm leaving you anyway. Because I was terrified. How am I going to tell him to leave? How am I going to ask him to leave the family home that I don't want to be with? How's he going to react? How's it going to be? And, you know, he threw that at me in an argument, and I just went, my face sort of fell. I knew it fell, and he obviously thought I was thinking, oh no, how am I going to cope on my own? And I'm thinking, oh my God.
It's like a relief.
Oh my gosh, he's going to leave me, and he thinks it's his idea. That's the best possible solution. I can remember phoning and telling my mum, and she said, how on earth did you get him to think this was his idea? And I said, it was just it just happened. So while I was making my plans, he was making his plans. I knew he was not being faithful, so he obviously had something else ready and set up. So and I was at the point where actually, thank goodness, not my issue anymore. So it suddenly happened in possibly the best possible way, because it wasn't my decision as such. It wasn't me breaking the family apart and me being an awful person and kicking it out.
So he thought he had the power by saying, I'm making the decision, I'm leaving. At the back of your mind you're thinking, thank you God.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
that was just answered prayers, wasn't
Yes,
it? Like
yeah,
how,
yeah.
and because it's scary, isn't it? You're going to say to
How do you
someone,
start that
like,
conversation with someone who's so controlling, not violent? There were a couple of minor incidents, but it was more the mind messing stuff and the control element for me, which a lot of people don't see as abuse. And it took me years to realise that is abuse as well.
And it's worse than, I know someone's saying, well, if someone hits you, it's a physical abuse, it's worse, it leaves a mark, but that mark eventually heals. And you don't realise your mind heals quickly too from that. But if someone's every day taunting you, degrading you, cussing you, you know, hurting you emotionally, especially with words, you know, they do last longer, they stick to you, and that's why they do it. That's why they do it. And also a bruise will be seen, and obviously you can report them. So they find these ways and little tactics of how am I going to see to your demise, but without people noticing or knowing. And for me, it's a lot to think about. Before you think about life and I don't know how you want to achieve and grow your business or grow in your company or whatever, your mindset is, I want to see to some person's demise. And I feel great when someone else is crying or feeling sad.
It's so hard to get your head around, isn't it?
You can't really. You can say it, but then it sounds like because you are not that person, Kate. You know, you're an amazing person. So for you, you could never comprehend it.
No.
They say the moment you can comprehend a perpetrator, you become that perpetrator because you can understand their their moves and what they're doing, you know, or how they do go about abusing someone. So if you can understand that, you become that because you're like, I get it. But we would never get it because we're not that person. We would never want to be that person. So it's just amazing, even at that point, that you was even able to even control your emotions and yourself. You'd be like, okay, yeah, you can leave. So you said something like you already had like a plan. Do you think he had someone else, or?
I know he did.
Okay.
He did. You know when you know without knowing.
That kind of women's intuition.
You know the phone was always upside down. You know, always starting to come home a little bit later.
Okay.
When he was challenged on it, it was, well, when have I got time for that? Not no.
They find time.
Exactly.
They find
exactly.
time.
So it's not a no, is it?
Yeah.
It's a deflection and a change the subject.
Wow.
I've had it confirmed to me by one of these people since then as well that was happening, and he told her all about all the other people as well.
Interesting. So for you, you're just like, great, take him, thank God.
You can have him.
You can have him for free and take all this stuff with him. Thank you very much. So, where is Kate now?
Kate has spent a lot of time working on herself. It's not a straight boat.
Yeah.
I think that's the one thing you need to recognise, is that you're not suddenly everything's going to start going that. It's like Ronan Keaton, life is a roller coaster, and it really, really is, because there are good days, there are bad days. You're still always battling with no, I don't want to say battling with your mental health, but trying to manage your mental health and keep yourself in a positive state. You need to tap into positivity every day, I think. So I've got to a stage where I'm very happily single. If someone comes into my life, it's because they're adding value to it, not because I need somebody. I don't need anybody. I'm really looking at myself and my own behaviours. I did have a relationship, a year relationship recently that ended back in May, and I fell back into the same behaviours. Very, very interesting. I didn't recognise the narcissism and the controlling and all sorts of things. And it was a real key point for me when that ended. Actually, you're just repeating these same cycles. So now I'm really working on that. I'm not going down that road again. So initially, again, the love bombing and it was amazing. And I'm like, okay, Kate, come on. Let's get back to this. You are happy on their own. They're not adding value anymore. That's fine. So I have, like I said, I'm happily single. I've got my 2 wonderful kids. And just trying to do things that I enjoy. So I've got the most amazing group of girlfriends. I am blessed in my day job that I have a very strong female leadership chain above me who have become friends which
nice.
is great. And I also have my business as well that is very empowering, and allows me to help people and give something back as well.
I love that. Because there's one thing coming out of a domestic abuse relationship, and as you said, and sometimes, like you said, it's not battling, but some women actually do and some men do, because they've been through it so bad, they live in this cycle of they can't get out of it. So for them, it's like one day's good, one day's bad, one day's good, one day's bad, and then it could be a few days that are bad and a few days that are good, and there could be months that are bad, and then end up unfortunately on antidepressants or other stronger meds, or even recreational drugs, or taking a different vice. You know, some people drinking, smoking, drugs, you know, addicted to painkillers or whatever, just to kind of get that kind of image out of their head of being abused, that kind of thought, that ruminating thoughts of what happened to them. And then they struggle because they need to speak out, they need to get a counsellor, they need to get a therapist. But it's sometimes just coming to a realisation, I've been a victim of domestic abuse. And just saying, I've been a victim of domestic abuse. It's nothing that I've done, you know, nothing that I've done, and I will and I can heal. And it's saying it and being empowered by it. But sometimes we just like, is it me? What did I do? And then it's just continuous. You're just almost like this self-loathing because that's what they told you. They lied to you.
Yeah. And I think even now I still struggle to equate that I was a victim of domestic abuse.
Yeah.
It's kind of doubt. Wait, was it really that bad? Was it?
Yeah.
And it still has a hold of you, but it's that, you know. No, that is not normal behaviour.
Absolutely.
That is not okay.
Absolutely.
And it's okay to call it that.
Yeah.
And obviously move forward as well.
And just before we go, do you have anything you want to say to anyone that's watching, and especially about your business as well? And
that'd be amazing. Thank you. Yeah. So one of the things that has helped me massively is having my own business. I do work alongside a bigger company, so I'm a business partner with Utility Warehouse. In the very basic terms, I help people save money on your boring old bills. But alongside that, I also help people do what I do. And that could be absolutely anybody, someone who's full-time employed, someone who doesn't have a job and needs that income, male, female, any background. It's an opportunity that's open to everybody. But I found my niche is really working with women similar to myself. A lot of single mums who need that extra income and need that boost, that the company really promote personal development, and that's what made a massive difference to me. And for me to be able to pass that on to somebody else and help them grow and see them grow, so that seeing somebody else that I've passed on this knowledge, this information, and it's made a massive difference. That gives you that really nice, warm, fuzzy feeling inside. And it does, it's that giving that empowerment back to myself. Absolutely. And then passing it on to somebody else. That is the massive thing.
So would it be okay that we can get some information, just leave on the description below, so if there's anyone who wants to find out some more information?
I'd love to. I'm a helper. I'm like you, I'm a helper. So please, if you want to leave my website on there, if you can contact me through that. If you just want to find out more, it's it's no pressure. I know I've explained it to you and you're like, oh, okay, that's great, thank you.
Good. Yeah, it's really good, guys. So I just want to thank Kate again for giving her amazing testimony and her story. And I really hope that it's encouraged someone out there to get help. And even if you've left that relationship and you're still suffering with mental health, or you're thinking, did I go through domestic abuse? But everything that lady said kind of ticks some of those boxes. Talking therapies is amazing. Your GP, if you've got someone that's trusted in your family, speak to somebody, and then maybe can signpost you to someone to get help. But please, one thing, don't stay in sane silence. Don't stay there thinking it might be just me. Am I overthinking? Because if you are saying that, that means something's on your mind. That means something did happen. But I just want to thank you guys. I'm Shurleene from The Anderson Show. I have my lovely guest Kate with me, and see you next time. Bye.